Hello guys, how are you? How are you today? What's today's quiz? So today we will have a very special guest. The name is Isa Felder. She started one German school here in Switzerland and also have another language where she teach. We will speak with her about her school, how was her idea. And here in Switzerland, we know we have four main languages, so she will speak a little bit about that too. I will be very glad to receive. She just wait a little bit. I think she will be already there. I think she was ready, but not anymore. World Language School is the name of her school here in Switzerland, and we will just know what is have a one language school here in Switzerland. Hello, Isa. I will invite you. Hello. This profile, I was a little bit far away from that for a while, but now we come back and will be very amazing because he's someone very special. Hello. Now I can see you.
Hello, Emmanuel. Nice to see you too.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for
So
the invitation.
no problem. You're welcome. So let us know about you, about your background. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes. So, first of all, once and again, thanks a lot for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and it's a challenge because there has been a long time ago that I've spoken regularly in English.
Now more
Nowadays,
German.
nowadays I speak just in German, sometimes in English also, but mixed up with German, and then
Normal.
that's gonna be a good time.
Normal, we have the main language is Portuguese, so the mother language is Portuguese, then German, and then come another stuff. So yes, normal. So feel free. I think the people here understand who we come from, so it's not problem. Feel free to speak about yourself.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So my name is Isa Felder. I was born in Brazil, in Rio. And when I was a teenager, I attended a theater course because I was very shy, believe me or not. I was really very shy. And the second reason is because I wanted to be an actress. But this dream is not actual anymore. Yeah, that's when I was a teenager. And just a few people also know that I was an elementary school teacher. I taught over a year in a primary school in Rio, and then I decided to study journalism to finish with my job as a primary teacher, elementary school, and start something new in my life. And then I studied journalism. And I worked when I was at the end of university at several institutions, and the last one was FAPERJ. FAPERJ is an institution that works with science in Rio. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a very similar history.
Yeah.
I also started being teacher at the primary school. Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah. And then I decided to study journalism, and then I worked in a couple of institutions, as I was telling before. At FAPERJ, this is an institution that is responsible for spreading science in Rio, was my last job. in Rio. And then I met my husband and I came to Switzerland. And the rest of story I tell you later.
Yeah, it was a challenge be here in Switzerland for you. How was that?
Yeah, yeah, it was a big challenge. When I came, my English was much, much better. I had a very good level of English. But anyway, a lot of people couldn't talk to me in English because they simply didn't learn well the language. Others they didn't want, and others thought an absurd that I was speaking in English living here. And to find a job was also a huge challenge. I tried everything that you can imagine. I tried to work as a waitress, um, cleaning places, as saleswoman, and nobody wanted me because they used to say you are overqualified. And my answer was, doesn't matter, I don't care. I want to work, I want to integrate here, and then I have to start somewhere. But anyway, I didn't receive this chance, and I focus on the language, and it was very difficult to me because my husband at that time didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough money to pay a German course. It was very difficult, and then everything came together. It was really, really hard to start life here in Switzerland.
Yes, cost of life here in Switzerland are very, very high. So German courses are also something sometimes people cannot afford. If just to think about start and keep and doing like intensive course and things like that, you need to pay, and this is not always very cheaper. If you live in Zurich City, for example, or some centers, maybe you can have some help, but if you live in another place, usually you don't have a possibility
Mhm.
to do that without pay everything, the full value, so the full cost. So I think it's a very difficult and a challenge for everybody has the same.
Exactly.
So yes. So about your moment now,
Mhm.
then, how was that? How this idea start?
About my own school, my own
Yes,
language
your
school.
own school, your own German school.
Yeah,
Then you keep speaking, but then you go also for this subject.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, in 2018, I was working for Swiss language school. It was great. I loved people there. They were very kind, but I wanted to have something on my own. And I wanted to create my own rules, my own methodology. I wanted to do exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be my own boss. And I saw also my people, Brazilian people, and also other people that speak Portuguese here, Portugal, Angola, that faced a hard time because they didn't have the chance to study in their countries. And to start studying in German, directly in German, was very difficult. The costs from the course, as you said before, isn't it? They are very high here in Switzerland. And then I thought I want to do also something for my people. And I contact a good friend of mine. We studied together. We were at college together here in Switzerland. And he agreed with my idea. And then in 2018, I founded World Language School together with them. But I still working in other institutions, also other Swiss language institutions, and also in an institution that offers translation. As you see, I have a lot of things
You don't
to
have a
do.
free time. You do a lot of things. You also did the magazine and things in this direction. So you don't stop, just all the time working.
I am a workaholic. You can tell me, you can tell about it. But I'm so happy. I see that I am helping people somehow. Yesterday, not on my own school, I heard the same, but it's very fresh, the example. Yesterday, three students from this other institution that I teach, they came to me, and my God, I had almost tears in my eyes. They came to me and said, "Thank you. I'm being able to learn German. I had over five teachers, and I've never could understand this language. And you make things so easy, and you give us so much attention, and this and that, and then thank you a lot." And this was for me um, a good reward. It's not just money, it's not just about money, but also about be useful to do something good for other people.
Yes, you have this big heart. I know. And this is very good because it's really complicated when we start any language, and when we start language from nothing. In Brazil, usually we came from a not so rich family who can pay different kind of course for us. So when you start with English, it's already something, but have people who never had the possibility to stud. So anything, even on language, even Portuguese, they could not do that right at their own country because they had another problems, they had financial problems, whatever. But when come here, it's very complicated when you just hear all the time another language and you cannot translate for what you know, and then that makes sense in your head, and you restart the process of learning. So that's why it's amazing what you do, because you understand the other language too, so you can also help if the person can just speak English and then have a question. But I always saw it was very easy if you just speak English, because when I did course, I speak English. So I always see how teachers answer in English people, but when have a Brazilian or a Portuguese or a Spanish student, they could not help. So who usually have English can learn faster because so that's
And
also
not all teachers, German teachers, they speak English. Because I have friends in these other institutions that they tell me I would love to, but I'm so busy when I have to think in English that nah, no chance. It's gonna be everything in German. Sometimes it's also a problem. It's not that the person doesn't want to help, but the person can't. The teacher can't help. He can just speak. Maybe official language in Switzerland, maybe French or Italian. Most of times French, I would say, in the German part.
yeah,
But when
they don't like speaking English anyway. They are always busy to learn, yes.
yeah, I tell you.
Yes, I just think also when you know another language, I think it's easier for you can understand the process of learn, because it's not easier. So when we just have the practice and we don't have been in this place to learn, we don't understand why people cannot do this right, or why they are not learning, or things in this direction. So when we put ourselves in the place of student and learn something different or language, we have this, okay, I understand why you're not going, let's try this other possibility. And yes, because it's not everybody who learn in the same way, so that is something important. And I love, please tell us about your school, because it's not just German, have another course on there.
Yeah, exactly. German is really the most it's the beloved, let's say like that, language, because we are in the German part, and then a lot of students look for German, but we offer also Portuguese. mainly Portuguese for foreigners, but also Portuguese for Brazilian or Portuguese people that live too long abroad. And with time, we forget a couple of things from our own language. We offer also Spanish, English. By the way, I have to do a crash course. I have to talk to my teacher. If you're watching us now, Tiago, don't forget. I need a crash course in English. Yeah. And Italian, we also offer. And soon we are going to start with Russian. We are also going to offer Russian.
Okay, it's a lot
Yeah.
of languages.
Yeah.
And which are the main languages here? Because this channel is for people who is living here already, for people who come here to live or anyway to visit. But we have the intention to show what is happening here. So how much language Switzerland have?
Mhm. So Switzerland, the main languages, official main languages are German, that is the most spoken language in Switzerland, then French, Italian, and another one, I'm not quite sure in English, this Romansh. And Romansh is a language that unfortunately don't have so many people speaking it, and people used to say that is a language that is dying. But yeah, and almost everybody that speaks Rätoromansch speaks English, speaks German or French. Then yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I usually say because we are a lot and we have now one community of Brazilian, Angolan people
Mhm.
from Angola and Portugal. We are already 300,000 people here, so it's the second biggest colon. So also Portuguese. Sometimes we go in the street and we just hear people here and there speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, I'm Portuguese from Brazil, and then I think, oh yeah, I am in Brazil.
Yes, I go to Zurich and I always have people speaking Portuguese. And I also, of course, have a lot of from Brazil, but I also have a lot of from Portugal, so it's different accent. But yes, for us, sounds the same. We have this feeling
Yeah,
from
I feel at
home.
home.
Yes. I just want to do like a joke. But yes, this usually is for, and also English, they speak a lot.
Yeah.
But usually in the big cities, if you go for small cities, it's not a very useful thing. But now I think I have a lot of companies that it's like international companies that also hiring people who speak in English because for them, because they are international, they are
Yeah.
big, they need to have one main language in the company. But it's anyway difficult because we have a few
Mhm.
of these big companies, a lot of small
Yeah,
companies who.
but anyway, when I worked for this Swiss school that I told very at the beginning, I worked then, I had to go twice per week, I think, to Johnson and Johnson. I remember that I taught inside Johnson and Johnson because it was obliged that the co-workers or the workers, they would speak a little bit German. Yeah,
No.
how it was in Basel, and then like obligatory that they could speak a little bit German.
Yes, of course. We live in here, so even you can work in English, we need to have some uh, vocabulary to go and ask a bread or a coffee.
Yeah,
And
it's the same in Brazil, isn't it? When comes a foreigner to Brazil, okay, we think sweet, we try to talk, but not everybody can also speak in English, isn't it? And then when this person wants something a little bit more difficult to express or to point, it's something more abstract. Yeah, this person has to speak in Portuguese, and it's normal, yeah.
yes. So I ask already about the main challenge of your life. But what was and still being the main challenge about the school, to have a school here in Switzerland?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge because to financiate, support financially, it's very, very expensive to have your own business, to run your own business. It's increasingly, sometimes I am shocked the amount of taxes and this and that we have to pay. And some people also they see that the owners are not Swiss, and this make me also a little bit sad, to be sincere. They see, oh, it's a Brazilian and a guy from Angola, a bit suspicious, even though I can show all diplomas that I have. I have nothing to hide. I am journalist. I studied in a very good university in Brazil. Here I attended a college here, and I have a diploma. But anyway, and Nelson also. But some people are a bit skeptical. They think, yeah, is it good? It's not good, and this and that. This is very, very challenging. But slowly, I see that we are gain space. It's a slowly process. But I see, for example, in 2019, when we worked together with the Brazilian consulate, because all this process, and now I forgot the name in English, if you can help me, when they look for schools, and then a couple of schools send an offer, and then they have to see and they choose a school, isn't it? I forgot now the name in English. In Portuguese, licitação. And licitation English. Okay, thank you. I forgot now in English, but then we won, and over a year we were the official school from the Brazilian consulate. And even though this time was finished, several diplomats, they wanted to still going on with our school, and they had to pay from their own money. But anyway, they said, no, you do so good, let's do further review with your school. And this was really the start that people start thinking, okay, they work together with the Brazilian consulate, and then I won some prizes also. And because of this, I say it's a slowly process, but then I did more and more.
I was checking here the word, yeah. So it's bidding or competition,
maybe bidding, I think, yeah. Then bidding. Yeah. And then I won this bidding, also not me, the school won this bidding, and it was really amazing. I was so happy because we were more than 5 schools that participated plus our, and we were number 1, and it shows that we have quality. And I won several prizes, and the school slowly is receiving the acceptance that it deserves.
I think it's a huge thing. Start a company here anyway, for a school or for some other kind of company, because you need to start to have a clients, and when you need to do that, people who it is interesting for us coming from Brazil, but if it's a service you can take from Brazil, you usually do, so you don't need to do here. If a service you need to do here, you're looking for people from here. So if you have a school and have a Brazilian people working to this school, they started to don't have this confidence to say, oh, that will be good. What is sad, because usually we prepare ourselves so good for do that, and it's not easy to have diplomas or to have a certificate to say that you are good enough. So you already have to across all this process, and in the final you need to prove again every day that you are good enough and for the
Yeah.
job.
No, and the funniest, if I can say like that, is that some people they say when they discover that I'm Brazilian, because some people no idea why they think that I'm Swiss, and they come to me, but then they discover that I'm Brazilian, that the school is run by foreigners, and then they say, ah, okay, I'm gonna think about, and then I call the person later on to ask, so what did you decide? Oh no, me and my husband, we decided I go to the school Y. And then the person goes. 1 year later, or even earlier, come the same person back to me and says, you know what I'm gonna do with you? I went to this school that has a huge name in the Swiss market, but was terrible. I didn't like at all the school. And then the person does a trial with me. I say, okay, let's do a trial lesson. See if you like it, because it can be that you don't like and then you're free. And then the person says, wow, I love it. And now we have also other students from other nationalities, also from Denmark, from Japan, from Morocco. Yeah, it's great. As they say, it's increasing. It needs a little bit time, but it's increasing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for when we start a company, I did student marketing. So there was for it start a company, we need to have a 3 years for see what will happen. But I think you across also the pandemic time. So the pandemic was very complicated. So people was not going to schools or things in this direction. So that's maybe why that delay a little bit more for can increase, but I hope everything gonna, gonna be very good as soon as possible. So, what language do you teach? Does you teach? Uh, just German or another language too?
By myself, I teach German and Portuguese, but I don't teach, but I'm learning because I love to learn languages and also to help my students, And I combine love for languages with helping. I'm learning now Italian. That I am able to help some Italian students that can't speak English or any other language, and they don't get very well what I say in Portuguese. Not that I explain everything in Italian, because I'm not able anyway, but at least a couple of expressions or sentence I can explain nowadays in Italian. And yeah, then I'm learning now Italian. That is my
Congrats.
fourth language now. But teach
Congrats.
just to Portuguese and German, yeah.
Good. Uh, I'm reading the questions because I just prepared it very, very late, so I'm sorry. Uh, um, okay. Have you tips to learn better German or in the language?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. I have a couple of tips, but I would like to let very clear that each person should look for something that he or she thinks that works or fits the best to him herself. Because sometimes I give you a tip and then you think, oh, Isa, this is terrible. But for your colleague or your husband or any other person, it's gonna work amazing. So my tips are, first of all, that you listen to a lot um, programs in the language that you are learning. If it's German, programs in German, English in English, and so on. Because then you are immersed in this language, and the child learn it also through the ears, also consuming what the mother and the father says, isn't it?
I have
And then first,
a kid and I listen Peppa Pig. It's very interesting.
Love it. That's
Some
great.
friends of mine will come here and have no kids and start to, yeah, they cannot like speak German, so they start to hear Peppa Pig. And they, send me please this this cartoon. It's interesting because have things that you can learn from that, you know, like because cartoons are usually very easier to go, so it's not a very complicated or fast dialogue, so you can understand very clear what they are saying. But of course I hear Peppa Pig in German, that's Peppa Woods, so the there is
Exactly.
something.
Everything
Yeah,
that
no, I hear us also another ones, but also cartoons or films now is not the problem anymore. But when my son came for the word, I was also hearing music for kids and things in this direction. It's very easy because when you start to watching or just listen to things that is very very fast, you have the impression the language is more difficult there. It's really
so
so.
nowadays I'm trying to learn Italian through movies. I watch a lot of movies and series, and sometimes I think, what they are talking about, please. And then I stop, I come back a couple of seconds. But yeah, it's the best way. Music also, with music, I had a lot of singers, German singers or bands at the time that I by myself had to learn German. And the second step to consolidate, my opinion, is that you read, doesn't matter what, newspapers, books, recipes, whatever, but read is also very important to acquire vocabulary. And third of all, write. Right. You read a book, you can summarize the book. You read a newspaper, you can summarize an article, because all these are going to activate your brain. And the last but not least is speaking. Speaking, then, after you, like a sponge, consume everything through listening, reading, writing, and then you have to speak for sure. And you can speak, oh, but I don't have anyone. Speak with your dog, speak with your kids, speak with the wall, but speak loud, that your brain also hears you speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now we have a lot of meetups in Switzerland. Have include one website, the name is Meetup, and you can meet people to speak. So you, even you are not a very good speaker, you can start. You can say hello, how are you?
Yeah.
You know, you can start to say what you can say, and if not, you can switch language to try to have a better conversation. But you can also try in German. I think it's the best. But of
Yeah.
course, people who don't have at home someone to speak, like both are foreign, so cannot both don't have too much knowledge and they prefer speaking their own language. So I think it's usually better you go for some other environment and speak with someone else.
Yeah. And there is
I have
a lot,
some too.
oh, sorry, Manuel.
No, this I'm not seeing you now.
Oh,
This is like,
okay.
but I can hear
Now,
you. And now come back. Now come back. I
okay.
can hear.
Yeah, I have a last tip that I love it, but you have to have time for that. Have to have time, preferably nobody's around, no kids, no dogs, no husbands or wives. You are really alone, you and the TV. Is what I call shadowing. Shadowing nowadays is very trendy, but really works. And how you do shadowing? Let's suppose you watch your favorite movie and there is an actress that the way that she speaks, the sounds, everything you like. The way that she talks, this person, her character also. And then you can choose 1 minute from her speaking and you're gonna imitate during 1 minute her speaking. Then if she talks, oh my gosh, you're gonna repeat, oh my gosh. And this makes your brain also thinking more realistic, that you're really talking the language. Why? Because you are imitating a person that you identify yourself. And this is also very good trick.
Very, very good. I just remember also one app who helps me when I came here. Before I came also because I was started Spanish. Was a student Spanish, so I just learned that. I started French, and this was also good.
Oh.
The name is Tandem. Is
Mhm.
one app that's very. I think now I have already 8 years or something like that. But because it's a free app, people is not everybody who knows about that.
Mhm.
So have a people who you can meet in the place you living. So you can meet a woman or a man who can speak with you. So you challenge, change,
Mhm.
exchange the language. So he can or she can Swiss, and you can Portuguese, and he try
Mhm.
learn Portuguese or he try learn English, and you can English. So you
Okay.
exchange your knowledge. It's not like a teaching, but it's good for what we were saying about have a conversation with someone else
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
just hear and uh, write, and when needs to speak you feel like, oh my god, what what can I do now?
Genau.
So
Exactly.
yeah, that can be also useful. um, and what you can say for a people who come for Switzerland now and are afraid to start to learn German, because I
Ah,
think French and all the language
mhm.
seems easier. I don't know for
Yeah,
all the people
yeah,
in the world, but for
yeah.
me it was
I have
always
a,
easier.
I have a very, very simple advice. Come to me. I'm gonna help you.
Good.
But jokes by side, jokes by side. My advice is that the person should think that German is a language like any other language with its own particularly structures. And maybe the person thinks German is very difficult, but if a German person or a Swiss German person learns his or her language, this Swiss or German is going to say the same. Oh, it's very difficult. Each language has, in a higher or less degree, difficulty. German, I say always at the beginning, is very difficult until B1. Later on is the contrary of English, because English at the beginning is very easy, don't have too many conjugations and this and that. But when you reach B2, C1, and then you think, oh my God, collocations is terrible. In English, it's terrible. And I think very complicated. Not only me, other people, also American friends that I have, they say, yeah, I have to recognize it's difficult. And then each language is difficult. And German at the beginning is more difficult than English, but later on, around B1, B2, becomes easier and easier because then it's less grammar and more vocabulary. And the person has to be confident, because if you put in your mind that something is difficult, you can be sure it's gonna be, doesn't matter what. And everything is the way that you see your subject, isn't it? Because one person learns very fast German because was with the mind opened, and for other people or the person, it's gonna take years because this person sees the German language as a monster, terrible monster. And then you have really to focus. What is your goal? Your goal is to learn a language. The language is German. Okay, check German. And then focus on it over 1, 2 years. And later on, you started looking for a job and so, but this is also, sorry for the mixture of thoughts, but this is also something else. Several people they want to learn the language and they want to work. And as I said at the beginning, very at the beginning, German is a very difficult language. Later on, not anymore, but at the beginning, people should really focus her energy to learn German. I know we have to work and also to pay the courses, but maybe we should reserve one day, even that is in the evening, a day to study the language. Because if not, we are not gonna grow on any job because it is required to speak German in the German part. How can you grow up if you don't talk the language? The minimum at least, isn't it?
Started
Yeah.
we start to have a little bit cut. So can you? Is required to speak German and a German part
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the thing. The thing I think everybody needs to have, even at moment don't need to speak. Maybe later that will be really
Mhm.
required for some promotion or things
Or
like
when the kids
this.
go to school, isn't it? It's very ashamed that you can't speak with the teacher. Ashamed, I wouldn't say. No, it's not the correct word, sorry. But let's say it's not comfortable. Maybe you want to talk privately with the teacher, ask private things about your own kids, and then you're going to need the help of a good friend that speaks German, pardon me, that speaks German, or a translator. And then it's also more money when you pay for a translator. Because as I said, the World Language School offers translation service, but I also work to another institution. And it's a expensive job, costs around 100 francs 1 hour. And then the person is going to waste 100 francs because she or he can't communicate. And when there are several meetings with the teacher, at the end of the year are already 500, 600 francs. And then would be much better to enter in a German course, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. So, people, if you need learn German, please contact Isa. World Language School is a very, very good school. You can learn, you can ask. It's like open place. So you go there, you can make friendship as well, have a lot of interesting people who can help you to feel home, because also we have that in our country. So I think that's the amazing part. You feel belong, even you come from Denmark or China, you feel in the warm place. So that is very amazing. I would like to ask you if you have something to add, something else you want to say.
Yeah, the only thing that I would like to add, at least at this moment, is that several people that I've met last week, they were telling me how difficult it is to live in Switzerland, and they are thinking to give up, to go back to their countries and so on. And I know it. I know it as it is very, very difficult. If I would tell you guys what I suffered about prejudice and many other problems here in Switzerland, but I didn't give up. I think that we have really to focus on our goals and organize ourselves. A time to study, a time to work, a time to be with the family and friends. It is difficult. Yeah, it is. But to everybody, even for the Swiss people, they have other kind of problems, but everybody has
Yeah.
problems. And if we go back to our countries, we are also going to have problems there. Different problems, of course, but we are going to have problems. So my advice and my wish for all of you is that you don't give up. Believe in yourself, believe in your competence, in your capacity, and I'm sure sooner or later you're gonna find your way here, your place in Switzerland. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching us. And
Thank
yeah.
you. That's amazing because I think uh, time after time, everybody would think that I have kids, so that's so messed up because we have no support. We have no network for support us with that, so I have a lot of things that is new to learn. So also for me, there is first kid, so I have to learn how to raise a kid, and also without the support from family or friends that is around, and without warmth, because I think, yes, we come back for our countries, but if you come from Brazil, you have the warmth, you have your family, and Latin people are very, very beloved, like, so maybe it's also that come now winter and people feel like not really in a good vibe because that, and feel sad or depressive, and that's also, I think, something to make think about come back for our own countries. But yes, vitamin D, there is hormone, is not a vitamin, so please don't forget that's come from the sun, but right now we don't have a sun, every day raining, so we need that.
You're going to scare people. No, don't tell that.
Not now. At moment, usually winter is beautiful, it's white, have all these. But yes, vitamin D, cannot forget. And if you don't feel well, I think it's the good thing also to think about is looking for help from one professional, so one psychologist or something, someone who can help you, and come back for our own country is not exactly the answer. We must still understand who we are and what we can do and what are our goals before take any decision or choose something
Exactly.
different.
Exactly. And if people need, sorry, just one more information, we also work together. We have partners that are psychologists, holistic therapists that who help our students to improve and also to find self-confidence, what is very important to live abroad, mainly to live abroad. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's very good information. You see, so World Language School is also culture and self-love. Good. Thank you very much, Isa. Thank you for everybody who stayed to the final, who could not, who just passed quickly. The live will be here recorded, so can see that anytime. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Isa. And I wish you success very much.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I wish you all the best. Thanks once again for the invitation, and thanks everybody that watched us or will watch us.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.